The Walking Dead World Beyond is a YA in the Walking Dead universe.
The Walking Dead World Beyond was not your typical look at the zombie apocalypse.
The Walking Dead World Beyond was a coming-of-age story in a zombie apocalypse.
Nice. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fallingtower's Watch the First podcast in which we watch the first episode of a series so that you don't have to. Why spend 45 minutes watching the first episode of a series when you can hear us talk about it for 50 minutes, obviously.
Even better.
And today we are reviewing The Walking Dead World Beyond. With us, as always, is Michael Kenyon Rosenberg. Ta-da! Our very special guest today is Tymaine Clay. I'm going to do that again. Tymaine Clay, writer, producer, director.
Thank you.
He's like, whatever, you called me Clay. We go way back with Tymaine Clay. We'll talk all about it a little later on, but here's a fun tease. Tymaine was the one that gave me my first acting job in a film based off of an audition. If I remember correctly, this was the first short film audition that I successfully got. So thank you, Tymaine. Many years too late.
He also gave me the only short film that I auditioned for and got. So.
Oh, it was my pleasure. You guys were great.
He's a giver. Yes, today we are reviewing The Walking Dead World Beyond. Tymaine Clay is Radical, one of our favorite humans, and we are going to get into it. We're going to talk all about zombies. But before we do that, everybody, please remember that if you want us to review the first episode of a series, just type in WTF Smurfs or WTF G.I. Joe, which we already did.
We did that one already.
For Watch the First Smurfs or Watch the First G.I. Joe, but we did do that one already.
Sorry.
Feel free to type that in. We're not going to do it.
Yeah, or go look for it and watch it.
Yeah, it's like our second or third episode, I think.
Third, I believe.
And also, please subscribe and hit the notification bell, like and comment. And let's get into it. Enough with the screwing around. Enough with the saying things that aren't true. Let's just get down to it. First thing we do is we talk about what we expected versus what we got.
Nope.
You're right, Michael. I feel like a zombie today. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm feeling like a zombie today. Michael is my crutch. He's my conscience.
Yeah.
So,
and by the way, also tomorrow, this is airing the day before Thanksgiving. We did not film it the day before Thanksgiving, spoilers. But this is so happy Thanksgiving tomorrow, I guess.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Theoretically, unless we release it a different day.
Yeah, that's true. Also, yeah.
So
Happy Thanksgiving or Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So what we're gonna do now is before we get into anything, we do our predictions.
Right.
Yeah. See, Mike's already used to me screwing everything up. He's like, no. Oh, wait, no, that's right. We do our predictions. Michael and I have known each other for like 20-something years. We know each other very well. We like to predict if the other person liked it or hated it or what they thought. So these are our predictions. Michael, I think that I think you thought it was slightly less than okay.
All right.
Here's his thinking cap.
Ryan, I think that you were not impressed by it.
I'm also going to guess that Tymaine liked it. I think Tymaine, who is a zombie fan,
I'm going to go with that too. Yeah.
I think he's a glass half full kind of guy. He's a loving, caring guy. He likes to laugh. He likes to enjoy life.
Very positive.
Yeah, I think he liked it. But before we tell anybody, he was going to say, well, actually, I did. Oh, you want to predict us?
I will give you my prediction on you, both of you.
Okay.
Oh, boy. He's going to call us out now.
I think I think Ryan liked it and Mike hated it.
Wow.
Going that
Yin and yang right here. All right. So now Michael's going to tell us about the plot. While I take a break and think about the 7 mistakes I've made already.
A group of teenagers living in a community sheltered from the dangers of the apocalypse receive a message that inspires them to leave the safety of the only home they have ever known and embark on a cross-country journey to save their father. In this episode, Iris welcomes an enigmatic ally to their community, while Hope questions the visitor's motives. A message upends the sisters' worldview, forcing them to decide between the safety of their home and the uncertainty of the world beyond. The end.
Scale of 1 to 10. What'd you give that delivery, Tymaine?
I think it was a solid 9.
Hey, better than I could have hoped for. Okay.
They need to hire him. Make sure they make him watch every episode. So
Yep.
watch every
Anything is
episode, hire him.
possible in a world,
world
beyond.
Beyond.
Okay. So enough screwing around. Now it's time for the real brawling to happen.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, not terribly impressed with this one. It was like a young adult. It's for young adults. I think this is like the Walking Dead for teenagers, right? For teenagers to watch and enjoy and be like, if I was in a zombie apocalypse, I would have a pickaxe too, and I would go. Me and my buddies would take on the world. Oh, damn! I just remembered what I was going to say at the very beginning. All right, let's start over. I was going to say the Walking Dead World Beyond was the Lord of the Rings set in the Walking Dead universe. When they all set out, the 4 hobbits set out on a mission. I was like, dude, this is Lord of the Rings. This is
woefully unprepared for the world that awaits them.
Oh yeah.
I could totally see one of them going, Gandalf, which way is Mordor? You know, like that's I totally felt like this was Lord of the Rings, and everything was like lush and green. I was like, oh, it's like they're leaving the Shire.
Yeah.
Well,
am I the only one that got that vibe?
Yes.
Well, I'll say yes and no. I would say for the most part, I do agree that it did have a Lord of the Ring embarking on a journey type of approach. It was it's a weird marketing strategy that they're doing with this one, I would say, because it's a show that you say it's for young adults. It's a coming of age story. But it may not be for young adults. It's a coming of age story, but I don't know if it's for young adults. I should say that way. It's a coming of age story of a kid, obviously confined in a nice, safe area, going out in the world, don't know whether it's going to be a good place or a bad place, and don't know all the dangers that the world has. Leaving all the comfort from the foster father to the real father. Their mother's dead. It's a story. Definitely, I feel like it's that girl's. I think her name is Iris. Iris's story.
That's the lead.
One who was the president of everything, and she believes one way 1 second, and then she believes something totally different.
The Frodo, yeah.
Yeah, she's the Frodo, right? And her sister is
Samwise.
Samwise.
Right, and then the two dumb kids are Merry and Pippin.
Yeah, but which one's Merry and which one's Pippin, though?
To Mordor is actually to find their father.
The kid that is, I mean, they're kind of a blend. The kid that's prepared is more like Pippin.
That's what I was thinking.
And the Galoot guy is actually almost a little bit more like a Sam character, a Sam and Mary blend.
I would say that, yeah.
By the way, folks, we forgot to mention that Tymaine is the resident zombie professional, expert, pundit, because he's a writer, director, producer, along with his wife, Lucy Clay. They've done a movie called When the Fever Breaks right behind him. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but it is a zombie movie. It is awesome. It is also available on Amazon Prime, just like this is. So when we're going to review a zombie movie on Amazon Prime, why not get writer, producer, director of a zombie movie that's on Amazon Prime? Should have mentioned that at the beginning.
Sorry.
Whoops.
Sorry about that.
Mike, we should just have you edit like just everything. Be like, oh my God, it's like a list of like all these things that we gotta. Nope, no chance of that. We're just going right through.
Man, dang it.
We'll edit that out. We'll copy, cut, and paste.
Yeah. So a lot of characters in this. A lot of characters introduced. But then we understand why towards the end is because they're all going to be split off. You know, there's kind of like the 6-ish main characters, the 4 Frodos, and then the 2 Gollums going after them. And
I would say the 2 Aragorns.
Like Aragorn and Gandalf.
Aragorn 1 and Aragorn 2.
Yeah, and then the lady that was the boss of the CRM, was she like Saruman?
Yeah,
I can see that. Yeah.
Who else do we have left? Who's Gimli?
We haven't met him yet. Yeah.
Oh, good thinking. Yeah, they
don't meet him until they get to Rivendell.
Yeah.
Oh wait, but there was no.
That's Omaha in the story.
Yeah, Huck and Felix are the people that chase after them.
Call me Hook.
Yeah, so Elizabeth something is the CRM person.
Right.
I do like that there's this mysterious company that nobody knows where they're from, yet they're allies somehow.
Still a country, though.
Here's a question. They said that at first, when they disappeared, the adults were speculating that maybe they went to, where is it they said they were going to?
To Omaha, because
right.
Hope,
but I thought,
Hope was talking about she wanted to go to the city, and I guess Omaha is the closest city to. I guess this is called the campus colony.
Yeah, but I thought they were in Omaha.
No,
they're
outside 100 miles away.
They're just outside of Omaha.
Yeah.
So is Omaha overrun by zombies, or is that another stronghold? Or
I
what?
don't know. Maybe
We don't know.
You'll have to watch more of the show to find out.
Because they said Omaha is one of the 3 allied things, and they're presumably part of that. So how are they not in Omaha?
We saw this one ended with them presumably part of that. They ended kind of badly for them. I'm assuming spoilers are around in this.
Right.
So it ended kind of badly for them all. you know,
see, Ryan,
that woman basically killed everybody. That's on their city. So
that was one of the confusing parts, though, too. Like, I didn't really understand what the heck was happening at the end there.
It was one of 2 things. What do you got, Tymaine?
Killed that whole city. She supposedly killed that whole campus that Iris and Hope are part of. So if Iris and Hope had remained there, they'd all be dead by now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it looked like it looked to me like they were killing zombies. So maybe somebody So it looked like there was like spoilers, but by the way, for anybody who hasn't watched the show already, why are you watching this podcast anyway?
To decide if they should watch the show.
So at the end of the episode, there's like a wall to get into the campus colony, and it's been like destroyed. So did the zombies destroy it? I don't know if the zombies have that kind of firepower. So ostensibly, like some human like threw a grenade at it or something, or a pipe bomb, or some kind of terrorist act, or something happened that let all the zombies in, and they massacred the town. And then this CRM, the Civil Republic military, these guys are going around cleaning up all the zombies by poking them in the eyes with their pitchfork stabbers on the end of their guns. It just didn't make sense to me.
It wasn't, and I think that's what comes into the YA category. It's like a murder mystery. It's like, well, did they really kill these people, or were they coming in afterwards to sweep up the mess? You're
a little quiet right now. Are you covering up your mic?
Oh no, you can't hear me?
Yeah, you just got a little quieter. We could hear you. You're just a little
I
quieter.
think I moved away from my mic.
Oh, okay.
Got too excited. But yeah, I think it's because of the YA in it that it became like a murder mystery where we don't know whether or not they killed the people or, like you said, somebody threw a pipe bomb in there and the zombie just got through.
Right.
The third party, we don't know, and that comes into the YA Scooby-Doo type approach of well, what really happened. I don't know.
Well, it's their ploy, I think.
You don't know what went on. And I also think it's worth mentioning as well that I had to do a little history on this series and why they made this series. Basically, I don't know if you guys know this. It's supposed to be 2 seasons, 20 episodes at most of this show, and it's over to prep up for the Rick Grimes Walking Dead movie.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting.
It's given a little backdrop to, I guess, from what happened as well with that part. I didn't know this until today. So, but I started doing a little history, looking at it, go, well, why are we making another Walking Dead? We have Walking Dead. We have Fear of the Walking Dead. What was so special about this one? Is this a kids movie? Nothing more? Are they trying to hit what demographics are they trying to reach with? And I know we've been saying it's a kids movie, right? It might be it makes it to me an interesting market because obviously you don't take your kid to see no Walking Dead.
Right.
5-year-old boy to see Walking Dead. Sorry, it's not happening. It's too much zombie killing on that part. So
no, but like a 10 to 13-year-old, I mean, could watch something like this.
Yeah, but then again, has a 13-year-old been watching The Walking Dead? Because when The Walking Dead came out, which was 10 years ago, they were 3.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Well, that reminds me, we do like to start off the show a little sooner than this, but we'll do it now. We like to play what we expected versus what we got. I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, I'll let it go, but I was like, nah, let's.
We both blew that one.
Yeah, that was on. I blame you this time, Mike.
I agree. Okay, I'll take responsibility for that one.
So just real quick, because you were kind of talking about what you were expecting. We compare what we expected versus what we got. Michael, what did you expect before you watched any of this? Did you know anything about it?
So actually, I did see a trailer for this show, and I showed it. I think I might have sent it to you, and I sent it to my wife, who's a huge Walking Dead fan. She loves Walking Dead, and the trailer showed like military personnel like fighting zombies, and so that's what I really expected. When I first turned this on, I was like, all right, this is gonna be
awesome.
It's gonna be like all-out zombie war, like the military just cleaning up all the zombies to make America safe again. That's what I expected.
What did you expect, Tymaine, before you watched any of it? What did you expect?
Well, since I didn't see a trailer, I expect just from the name itself, World Beyond, was like, okay, it's going to be like some type of paramilitary type of, all across the world type of how do we deal with this new zombie apocalypse that's growing on and on. And I thought it was, and my basis was based on, I guess, how I know the Walking Dead comic book ended. I'm not going to spoil that, but knowing that, I said, okay, so we're going to have like a zombie approach and figure out how do you deal with the zombie mess and massacre after. So that was what I expected.
What did Ryan expect?
Wait,
we gotta hear what Ryan expected.
One thing we never do on this show is do things out of order. Let me tell you.
Not on purpose, at least.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what I expected. Nothing. I didn't know it existed. I didn't realize there was a third Walking Dead series until we saw that there was one. I just figured it was going to be another Walking Dead thing. I really didn't know anything or expect anything about it. I don't read any plots or summaries or anything. I just go into it blind. So I expected nothing other than it being in the Walking Dead universe. But what did you get out of it, Michael?
I got a show that was nothing like I expected. There was a little bit of military force, but it wasn't the show wasn't surrounding the military. It was just surrounding a bunch of high school kids. And I got a show that was not terribly acted. I mean, it was pretty decent acting, but terribly written.
Seems like maybe Michael didn't like it. Seems like I was pretty right on that, right?
I think the Tymaine was right on when he said I didn't care for it at all. So.
Yeah.
Right. I said you kind of didn't much care for it, but Tymaine
hated
was
it.
closer.
Tymaine was like spot on.
Tymaine, what did you get?
Well, obviously it wasn't what I predicted. It was a coming of age story, and once I kind of realized it, because when I first saw it, I'm like, okay, the girl's going underneath the little bus and everything, and the story's following this guy named Omen around. But no, it's following this girl named Iris. I'm like, oh, okay, the kids, got it. Well, how are you gonna do this? And the moment I looked at it, I said, it could be interesting. It could be crap. It's like it's one of those fine lines. It's like you're either going to be, you got three possibilities. You're going to be really, really good and blow my mind with thinking of taking something that could be a coming of age story and twisting it some way that I did not expect. Or you're going to be forgettable, which is the middle road, which I didn't like you enough to remember you, and I didn't hate you enough to remember you. Or I'm going to hate you totally. Like you're pure crap. You're pure mud. You were a crap show at the beginning, and from the way the story started off at the moment, I put it in the middle range. It's okay. I did like it overall, but I will say at the same time I can also forget about it.
I think I'm gonna forget about it too.
Yeah, it's not
I
like
hope I
enough for me to go. I
forget
would love it or I would hate it. Like I can tell you from the first Walking Dead I saw, I was Walking Dead. I think seasons 1 to the first few seasons of it. And then after they killed Glenn, I hated Walking Dead. But I remember it both ways. I remember when I loved it. I remember when I hated it.
Right.
That's something we should also talk about is how much of The Walking Dead have we seen. But before we do that, let me just say very quickly that what I got was, a show that was, it was forgettable, I guess is a good word. It didn't offend me. You know, there was nothing that I hated about it. There was nothing that I rolled my eyes on. I appreciated the world building. I thought that they set the stage for something that could have been great, but that the execution was pretty low. I do like, I was originally very interested in knowing like the lore of, there are these 3 cities that have an alliance, and there's, they've kind of learned to deal with this thing. It's not just like a band of people trying to survive out there. It's kind of like what happens later. Once they've all come together, they all have their methods and their systems. That's really interesting. That's really cool. I love that kind of stuff. The execution was not very good, and making it about kids was not very good. But I will say, as far as the Walking Dead franchise, I've not watched any of Fear of the Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead, whatever that one is.
Fear the Walking Dead, yeah.
I've seen I watched the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead, or as I like to call it, The Twerking Dead. And I saw the first few episodes of the 3rd season, and then they kind of lost me. I kind of got bored when they were in that city with like the governor or something like that. Anyway, that's where they lost me, right around the 3rd season. What about you guys?
I saw the first episode of Fear the Walking Dead, and that was enough for me. My wife watched, I think, the whole first season, but I think she kind of fell out of love with it as well. The Walking Dead, I feel like at least 4 or 5 seasons. I saw up to the season finale with what's his name that killed Glenn. It was like right before Glenn got killed.
The guy that everybody cosplays, whatever that guy's name is.
Right. What's his name? Negan. I saw like the first season with Negan up to the season finale where they're all like in the circle, but I didn't see the next season where they actually killed Glenn. But my wife has like watched it up until currently. So,
I mean, you've seen all of it. It sounds like.
Well, now I've seen a good chunk of it. I've seen the first season of Fear of the Walking Dead. I didn't see season 2 of it. I've seen The Walking Dead up until they killed Glenn, because I was pissed at that point, and I was like,
you're like, I'm out. If they kill Glenn, we riot.
I was like, yeah, bitch got riots, and I was like, I'm out. I tossed the computer away and said, My wife's seen more episodes than I have afterwards. She kept watching it after, and she's seen up until, I believe, the end of the 9th season. They're on season 10th, I believe, right now.
Yeah.
So she's seen the end of the 9th season, I believe. I watched the last episode of the 9th season. I guess this show did make me want to go back and watch the season 9 episode and see what the heck was going on a little bit, who's alive and who's dead. But
Ryan's playing around with his green screen and it looks
I
terrible.
know, right?
Yeah, but nobody knows because the camera was on Tymaine.
Ah,
So I was kind of having fun with it with you guys. I was watching
Gotcha.
you guys
Movie
laugh
magic
about
there.
it.
okay. So why do you think that wives like The Walking Dead so much? Because your wife likes it. My wife has watched it all. So.
Well, it's a pretty good study. It's a good character study. I remember when I first saw it personally, I remember thinking it's a story about hard choices more than anything else. It's not really about the zombies. Everybody knows it's not really about zombies because that's not a story. It's about people making hard decisions, and it was about people surviving. It's survival and hard decisions, and that's what it was. At least in the first 2 seasons, that's what it was. Every step of the way was
Right.
this person's hard decision, and then this person's hard decision, and then the group's hard decision. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe, the ladies prefer something that's more of like a psychological thriller, like what they're going through, what they're thinking about. And the dudes are watching to get, we want to see people get eaten. Is that right? Tymaine?
I think there's some truth to that.
I mean, personally, I want to see like the cool zombie deaths, like
See,
like,
there you go. What about you, Tymaine? Is that same thing?
We want the Soprano-like setting, some zombie version of it. Like, who's gonna die and how?
See, you guys are just out for blood.
I gotta say,
blood, apparently.
they had some cool zombies in this one. I like this Moss zombie.
That was the best one. That guy was in He-Man. That was Mossman.
Mossman.
Well, it's like you got to figure, like after 10 years of there being zombies, yeah, like moss would accumulate. I guess these aren't Rolling Stones, but they are walking zombies, and or what do they call them? The empties in this show. Like they always call them different things. Like they call them the walkers, the biters, and other things in Walking Dead. But then in this, they call them the empties.
They call them the losers.
One of these days, one of them call them zombies.
Yeah, how do they not call them zombies? Right? Like if there were zombies taking over our country and our world, we'd be like, holy shit, zombies.
Zombies.
Yeah.
Everybody's turning into a zombie. They're literally zombies, you guys. He turned into a literal zombie.
They'll get there one day. Give them a few more seasons. They'll get there.
Yeah, but I like that they call them different things because that's kind of like a study of human nature. They call them different things: walkers and biters and empties, and you can usually kind of guess where it came from. But yeah, I love that they had Moss on that one dude because he's just been sitting there, and sitting there. That also brought up what I was thinking when you were talking about the end. Like the 2 options were either they let all the walkers in, and then the walkers killed everybody, and then they killed the walkers or something like that. Or maybe they turned everybody into walkers and then killed them, or they killed everybody and then everybody turned into a walker and then they killed the walkers. But the reason I thought those 2 later options are not possible is because when they were killing the walkers, we could see that they were very deteriorated and very decayed. And if I know anything about this series or this franchise, is that at the beginning of the series, the beginning of The Walking Dead, the zombies weren't super decayed yet.
Right.
They were pretty normal, which shows that they do decay at some kind of rate. And the ones they were killing were pretty rotten.
Well, they had one of them with the blue paint on them too that they showed earlier in the episode. They were marking them.
Very good. I missed that. Very good.
Track their migration patterns.
Right. So that means that it definitely was the first thing, which is walkers got in, and whether they were let in by accident or on purpose, they got in. They killed everybody. They killed the walkers. I did like that, putting the blue paint on their face to mark them. That was really cool. They're just putting it on their face. It's so cool how they just treat them like they're just garbage.
It's like, oh, just there.
They're just empties. They don't know anything. But yeah,
What?
it felt like that end scene. It was like it felt just kind of like a kind of a lame attempt to bribe people into watching the next episode. And like the CRM lady, she was like, "Oh, did you find them? No, they're missing." And she's like, "Good."
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? Even like it doesn't even make sense.
They're going like, watch and find out.
Right.
Oh,
Well,
we got you.
I actually had to Google that because I agreed with Mike. It didn't make sense from what I saw. Because like, did you find her? And like, no. They're referring, from what people are saying, they're referring to some other character on Fear of the Walking Dead, like her daughter, maybe, possibly. And we don't know for sure if that's the case or not, but it could be. People could be trying to link it together. But then it comes to play is, how well do you watch each of these shows? Now you come across the territory of, is the person watching The Walking Dead supposed to be watching this show, which is dealing with the kids? How long do you think it's going to keep their interest when at the moment it seems to be portraying more to a kid audience who would not have watched The Walking Dead because they were not that old yet. Even Fear of the Walking Dead is
great point. So it's even worse than we expected, than we thought, and yeah.
So that is true. I'm not sure if it's true, but that's the speculation that's going on the internet, on the web. That's the truth. And it's like, I mean, for me, I thought the concept was kind of cool.
I thought
how do the kids, I didn't mind even kids. How do people of the next generation, basically,
right?
Oh, I'm listening.
Live in this world? And I expected more like The Last of Us kind of, the version of it where I forgot the girl's name, the girl named Ellie, where Ellie was kind of grew up in that version of the world, being like a tough, nail-biting type of person, because obviously if you grew up in a luxurious world, you feel a certain type of sophistication and luxury behind it. But you grow in a hard world, you're going to have a little hardship. This is the way it is. We kill to survive. We do this. We do that. So it was interesting in that concept. What type of people do we have, and how do they mingle with everybody else? But they haven't gone there yet. They're just like, oh yes, like you said, they're going off on a Lord of the Rings adventure, and I'm all like, I've done that adventure already. It's called The Walking Dead Season 1 and Season 2. We've done the where do we go from here type of approach. I don't need to see you walking off anywhere. I need to see the next phase of this journey, if you have one, which is one of the reasons why I stopped watching The Walking Dead, because they seem like they have ended their phase. They had their little fights. They had their little stuff. After a while, it's like, okay, you fighting somebody else again? Where else are you going? You're going to always find somebody to fight. What else are you going to do next? I don't want to repeat and rerun and just going.
Well, that's what it seemed like was going to do every season. Every season was going to be a new big bad or a new city that they fight with.
A new governor or whatever who is the governor, right?
It's like, don't give me that. Give me the next thing. Give me what happens next. Are you settling down? Are you staying? What you guys going to do? Are you building society? What are you doing next?
Well, and what do these kids think they're going to do to save their dad? I mean, like, these kids are like grew up inside a sheltered community with people protecting them from the zombies, the empties.
Well, beyond that, sorry, no, finish your point, but I had a major problem with that.
I mean, yeah, so it's like, like these are just two little girls, and they're two, like one nerdy guy and one slow guy, it seemed like, and like, what are these guys going to do against, first of all, any zombies, and then second of all, against this whole Civil Republic military? How are they going to get their dad out of that?
Right. So also, fact check, guys. New York State, they're going to go find their dad in New York State. How do they have no concept as to how big this state is? It's a state.
Right.
You're not going to find somebody on foot in a state. You might not even find him in a city. You might not even find him if he's in a city, in a building somewhere. you might never find them in a city. A state?
Yeah.
What the do you think? How? And nobody, when they saw that script, nobody was like, no, that's not gonna work. A fucking state. Sorry, that was the biggest problem for me.
Well, and they have this map, but like, first of all, why would the lady give them that map unless she wanted them to go? I mean, that's obvious to me. Like,
Right.
I'm sure you guys agree, right? Like, it's like,
Yeah, I thought she wanted them to go.
right. I mean, probably because she knew that they were going to let the zombies in and kill everybody. But then why does she care that if they live though too? Watch the next episode to find out.
That's the thing, is that we don't get enough of what's going on yet. And that's a problem when it's your first episode. You should know some type of foundation, basically. If you don't have enough foundation, then the episode doesn't totally work all the way through. And what we have is an episode that gives me some inkling. You might check next episode, but you're not giving me enough of a foundation of what's going on. Like for example, does anyone know who's in charge of this town before it got killed?
Right.
I don't know. I know this Owen or whatever his name was. He basically was in charge of watching the girls. Who's in charge of the town?
Yeah.
Right. Well, he was also the guy that
high school place.
He was also the guy that came out as like the representative when the CRM showed up. So it's almost like he was at least a representative, but he's off on some mission, presumably going to be joining. I mean, does anybody think that those two are not going to join the four?
Oh no, they're definitely going to. Eventually.
Yeah, they're going to be a part. They're going to be like, I'm going to take you back. And they're like, no, we have to go because this, and this. And they're going to be like, we should go. We should do it too. Then.
We should protect you.
Well, how far have we gone so far? 2 miles? Let's do it.
Yeah,
we can make
it. Yeah. So my biggest problem with this show.
I just like looking at the Moss Man in your background.
My biggest problem with this show, like I mentioned at the top, is the writing, because it's the key screenwriter's mistake that you guys both know
you
need to show, don't tell. Mm-hmm. Right. And everything, this whole first episode, everybody is telling everybody else what's going on. Here's your real problem is this, and you need to fix this, and you should do this.
You're the smartest person in this city. Did you hear that, guys? I said this is the smartest person, and so we're all supposed to go, oh, this is the smartest one. I should like this one.
And it's like, not that I wanted more of the show, but there's no subtext at all.
No.
And everybody's just telling everybody what their problems are. So we already know what they have to work on. But yeah, just let it come out organically. You don't have to tell us everybody's problems or what everybody's story arc for the whole season is in the first show. Like, give it some time to develop. Like, focus on one character in the first show, or maybe like the two sisters. But then they go to everybody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was getting pretty confused with all the characters. I was like, there are a lot of similar characters here, and I'm not able to keep up with it. But I put all their names down, and Amazon does a great job of giving you the information on the left.
Right,
so that's great. But then I was thinking, like, I think Hope, that's the girl that snuck on a bus,
right?
Yes,
was very similar to Iris's sister.
No, Hope is Iris's sister.
Okay, then she was very similar to Huck. At least they kind of remind me of each other. And then there was another girl that was also similar that I can't remember now. But I was like, you guys got to slow it down. Now, I understand why they did that, is because 6 people are going to go off on a mission. There needs to be more characters left behind to continue that storyline.
But they're all dead, though. Except for the CRM lady. Everybody else looked like they were dead. I mean, I guess we don't really know, but...
Yeah, Monica, the psychiatrist, died.
Mm-hmm. She died,
Felix went after them, yeah. I felt like there were more characters.
Iris's journey.
Felix, Carlucci, Silas went with them. Maybe they did all die. I felt like there were more of them. Will is Felix's boyfriend that's coming at some point. Elton is the other boy. Okay. What do you guys think of Liz? Or Elizabeth, the CRM lady. I just called her Liz in my notes.
I thought she was interesting. I mean, the problem, but again, we don't know enough about her. She's an interesting blank check. It could be a good number at the end of it, or it could be something measly. It's a blank check. So,
I'll take it.
You know, I'm not trying to see what you fill it in, but
She reminded me of the what is the principal lady from Matilda? Tymaine knows what I'm talking about.
I know.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anybody else who knows what I'm talking about knows what I'm talking about.
What's Matilda?
It's a movie based on a novel by Roald Dahl. It's got Dane DeVito, Rhea Perlman, and it's about this little girl with like magic powers, and like she gets in trouble at school, and then there's like
Ooh.
her teacher gets in trouble too or something for some reason, and I don't know, there's like this lady who's like, I forget the exact plot of the movie, but she's like a principal or like the new teacher or something, and she's kind of a burly woman who's like has weird messed up teeth, and so you know, this lady's British, so she probably has messed up teeth too, so
Like the guy behind you.
But
we
actually,
do know
for a zombie, he sure has a full set of chompers, doesn't he?
oh yeah,
So
his dental care was great.
when they said 9,671 people here, they weren't talking about in Omaha. They were talking about at that university.
That's what I
Right.
got. Well, only 70 now because that one lady turned into a zombie. So.
Right.
Well, no, they're all dead.
Well, yeah, actually, now they're all dead.
It's zero
so.
now. It's very easy to count.
Yeah, it's a very confusing situation. So do you think they're going to pass through Omaha first and we're going to see Omaha?
Yes.
Maybe.
They
I mean,
basically said it. They basically highlighted it for a reason. So it'll be there.
I mean, you have to figure that that's probably the way to the highway, which is probably the fastest way to get to New York State. Like, is to steal a car and get on the highway.
Yeah.
But I don't know how any cars are still running because any batteries would be dead, and any plants to manufacture batteries would be long gone. Also,
Well, that one girl can make champagne. Maybe she makes batteries.
No, I can make champagne, but you can't make batteries. It's.
I can make batteries. I'm very handy.
I guess you could make like a potato battery. I think I did that when I was in grade school or something like that. But I don't think you can make a 12-volt battery to start a car. So
I've made a few in my time, but we'll.
how many cold cranking amps?
I don't even know what that means. I don't know anything about cars.
You go make the battery.
Yeah, I barely even know what a battery is.
I'm in Ryan's, but I'll be dead if it's zombie apocalypse. I don't know making no battery.
Do you guys have a favorite character? Was there a character that you thought that's pretty interesting, or were they all just kind of like, we'll see?
All my character names I wrote like nerdy kid, slow guy, dumb girl, which was like Hope because she was like she gets into the bus on the bottom. I was like, what is she doing? She's an idiot. Doesn't she know she can like get attacked by zombies? And a zombie attacks her, of course. So I guess the nerdy kid, who's the kid with the suit in the behind you, Ryan. I don't remember his name.
Elton.
Elton, yeah, he was probably my favorite character.
I also like the main character Iris.
Yeah, I agree. I think she was a pretty good actor, despite having a terrible script. I think she did a pretty good job of bringing it to life.
Mm-hmm. Like for whatever reason, I liked her. I thought she had, like you said, she brought the character to life. I was interested to see what would happen with her character. She obviously has some demons that haunt her, which was ironic because Hope has no demons that seem to haunt her. Depending if you know what happened with them when they were kids, I would think the opposite would be happening myself. But I thought it was interesting. I know some people like Hope because I heard that some people like Hope because she reminded people of Daryl, but
I could see that.
But to me, I mean, Hope is okay, but I also question her a little bit because that was kind of cold-blooded what she did as a kid. I understood what happened, but that's some cold crap. Like, you know, that person killed her mom, and she just straight up killed that person.
I don't think she did, though. To me, it looked so. First of all, let's talk a little bit about this. That was Elton's mom.
Yeah.
Elton's mom killed Hope and Iris's mom.
Oh, how do we know that? I didn't realize that.
So he was
Okay.
saying that her mom was pregnant with his little sister, and then he pulled out the picture, and it was that same lady that killed her
Yeah.
mom.
I see.
And then Hope picked up the gun that like she was gonna kill the lady, but it looked to me at least like somebody else had shot her first.
To me, it looked like that. You said she picked the gun. She heard an explosion and may have fired a shot.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
And we're supposed to be like more like like she probably wouldn't have killed her anyway, but the explosion made her have a jerk reaction and killed the mother. But
The show just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I also had a problem with. Sorry, finish your point, Tymaine. Sorry.
but at the same time, it's like you would think because of that she will be the one having the nightmares back and forth all the time, recurring.
Maybe she does.
Whereas the other one has nightmare supposedly because she wasn't there. So it makes her have the nightmare of wanting to be there, wishing that she was there, which have her overcompensate and want to be the president of everything and making sure she's taking care of everybody. Which, like I said, I understood it and I got the character, but I question why is that one having a nightmare versus the other girl who I think should be haunted for that she's killed a pregnant lady and her mom got killed right before her eyes. I mean, that's some psychological stuff right there. But you have to care one way or the other. It's like you turn to be an evil person. You're gonna be the next Lex Luthor of this group.
But I'll tell you one of my problems with that scene was it just didn't seem realistic to me that lady pulled a gun on them. Usually when people are faced with something that extreme, they band together, like especially women. Women are more communal, where they want to
Trusting
protect
of each other,
or they want to team up, or they want to work together. But human nature, everybody's like that too. Like if they were, obviously we've never been faced with a zombie apocalypse, so we can't back this up with proof. But generally speaking, my understanding of human nature was that if they were both going for the same truck, which had the perfect amount of space for the three of them, they'd be like, great, hop in. And they would feel safer and better knowing that there were more people with them. They'd be like, oh, thank God, I don't have to go do this by myself.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And so that whole thing, well, I was like, what? She wouldn't be like, thank God I got this gun for all these zombies, because now I'm going to point it against my only potential ally and aim it at her. That just didn't work at all for me. I was like, this is not a thing that people do.
Right. It had to be something different. It had to be like they were ready in a car or something. And then the mom is turning them back to the zombie horde when she's trying to get away. Then you can possibly see them maybe, okay, I ain't turning this gun on you because you're going to get us all killed. Rather than, hey, we haven't gotten to the truck yet. You haven't even mentioned that you're going back for your family yet. But I won't point this gun at you because the script told me to.
Yeah. Well, it also seemed a little bit weird, like, where is this plane coming from out of nowhere too? Did this happen 10 years ago during because I got the impression that it didn't happen.
I didn't get that. I don't understand what any of that was, honestly.
It sounded like this happened like 5 or 6 years ago, not 10 years ago when the zombie apocalypse first happened.
No, I think it was 10 years ago.
I think it was supposed to be 10 years ago. I think it was supposed to be when the zombie apocalypse first happened. Because everything seemed like it was ground zero, if you will, where everybody was running for their lives and zombie and people just starting to happen. But at the same time, it didn't offer too much new stuff besides Hope possibly a cold-blooded killer. Right. But it didn't offer me anything else totally new on it. I mean, I just find that the dream that Iris has had was interesting, with her turning into a zombie every night.
Yeah.
And why was she thinking that, Is that
at first I thought it was like maybe part of the comic book or something, because it looked like in her dream, if you could see, it looks like there's like the comic book lines in the outlining the zombie is what it looked like to me.
Right. Yeah, I was wondering what that was about.
It's funny. When I first saw that, I was like, what is this? This is going to be an animated show? Guys,
I know. At first I was like, what are we? Is this Aha?
Take on me.
There it is. He knows.
But I think it was supposed to be because from what I heard, from what the script gave us, that Iris is a drawer. So she probably draws this all the time.
Oh, that's
I
I didn't
see.
put that together. That's very astute.
That's her sketching, and that's what she sees, you know. So like I said, her character is very interesting to me because it seemed like she has some dark corners going in, and what was keeping her together in a way was that she has these rules that she set upon herself that she was going to do this, and that. But by the end of the show, she said these rules, she broke all these rules down and said, F these rules, I'm going to be me.
Right.
And we don't yet know, and she doesn't know yet what this me is. And to me, that is interesting. And I want to know more about what she is and who she is. Everybody else seems to be more set on who they are.
So just when we were ready to think that Tymaine hated it, there's something more to the story.
He pulls you right back in.
But Tymaine, let's take a moment and talk about you, shall we?
Okay, let's take a moment.
Great. So you are a writer, producer, director. As we mentioned before, you cast us in our first short film auditions. I do remember that I had 2 auditions that day. And I think I wasn't even close to we'll just say that I wasn't even close to chosen in my first audition that day. I remember thinking not even close. And then luckily where I was auditioning for you guys was also kind of in the same area, you know, east of LA. And so it was like perfect for my day. You know, I auditioned for them. Then I got in my car. I looked over my lines for like 15, 20 minutes. And then I went directly to yours. And I think that it was the opposite. I think I did very well in that second one. I got it. You guys what was cool about it was that you guys gave me the role on the spot. You guys, I think I remember what you and Billy said was, I think it's safe to say that we want you for the role. I think that's the way. And I was like, great. You win some, you lose some. What a day. But that was a great time. It was for something called Trek Wars, and it was many years ago. And then Michael subsequently also auditioned and nailed it.
I originally auditioned for George Lucas, but I got the part of the Fat Vulcan instead.
Or as Stan called you, the Vulcan.
It was fun.
Yeah.
The Vulcan.
I didn't even think I did that good at that, but then you guys both looked at each other and you're like, yeah, this is our Vulcan.
Perfect. So
it was great.
That was some of the best times of our lives recording Trek Wars back in the day, dressing up as Starfleet officers and fighting Jedi. Everybody, you guys got to go check that out. It's the Trek Wars, right? And it's really cool. Basically, Star Trek versus Star Wars. We were Star Trek officers, Starfleet, and we had a run-in with some Jedi. And we won't give any spoilers, but it was a brawl to the finish. But now you have written, produced, and directed a movie called When the Fever Breaks. And it is a zombie movie. It is now available on Amazon Prime. Everybody really should go check it out. Tell us about this movie.
All right, I'll go watch right now.
So the movie is basically about, we decided to do like a different spin on the zombie apocalypse. Basically, it's ironically set in a zombie apocalypse that where everybody had to be kind of quarantined into this one house to try to survive. And what happened is one of our characters, the main one, she gets infected. And she's bitten and deciding what to do with her. She has 2 hours at most. And what should happen? Can we trust that she has enough immunities? Can we trust that she won't turn and kill us? What can we trust? Should we throw her out? And it's her ability to try to survive what people are trying to do to her based on that, on their belief of what will happen. She has a little daughter. She's trying to make sure that daughter stays safe through the next day as well. And it's a nice little ride. It has horror. It has suspense. It has a lot of little things. It has tough calls to make as well, you know, because what do you do when you're the one who's bitten? You know, when you're the one who's basically potentially infected. Do you kill yourself? Do you keep going? What do you do?
You kill other people.
Oh, you kill other people. These are 2 hours.
What was interesting about this script, because by the way, I get to act in the movie. Tons of fun. I got to play one of the 7 main characters. But this is what's interesting about this. It is about 7 characters, and that's it. That's it. You know, zombie apocalypses are usually like everything that's going on everywhere. But what if it's just 7 people locked in a house? and that's where everything is. And they're friends, and they're couples, and they do have to make these hard decisions, and crazy stuff happens. And one of them is infected from the very beginning. And so it's cool because it's kind of like, to me, it felt like what I liked about M. Night Shyamalan's Signs. If you remember that one, it's an alien movie. It's an alien taking over the planet movie, but it's told from the perspective of a small family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's cool and interesting about it. It's a different spin. And that's what this movie's kind of about. It's talking about the zombie apocalypse, but in a very small scale. You know,
Yeah,
it's just about
Seven
this family.
people living in a house, and you find out what happens when people stop being polite and start getting real.
Yeah. Tymaine, what was your biggest surprise or unexpected moment when shooting When the Fever Breaks? Was there just something that really jumped out, a scene that worked better than you expected? Or was it like, where you're like, wow, the makeup was cool? Or were you like, this is more fun than I thought, we should do this more often?
Well, all of them happened, but the big surprise was actually, I don't know if I told anybody the story, was the day before shooting, the camera broke.
Wow.
The camera broke. And it was like, okay, what do we do? You mean the camera's not working? Tony was my director of photography, my DP, and he was like, yeah, the camera's gone. And I'm like, okay. He goes, don't worry, we'll figure it out.
You messing with me, Tony? Like,
exactly. I was like, you messing with me? And it was like midnight, and we're figuring it out. Don't worry about it. We're figuring it out. You just get a good night's sleep. You got a big day tomorrow. And I'm like, I can't get no good night's sleep over this.
Yeah.
So,
how am I going to sleep without a camera? We're shooting tomorrow.
Shoot it tomorrow. Get a good night's sleep. You go over there and just act it out, and pretend you were shooting. But fortunately, at the 11th hour, we finally got a camera, and and that helped save our butt. Our executive, our EP, Steve Pisa, got us a camera, and we were rolling, and we were good to go. And we didn't have to postpone a day or anything like that, which was great because I had also a 9-to-5 job, so I had 3 weeks to shoot, and that was it. That's much vacation allowed me to shoot. 3 weeks, shoot everything, which is why we had a tight schedule, and we were able to make it happen, thankfully. That was the biggest surprise. Everything else. The other surprise was we got it all done in 3 weeks.
That's a lot of work to do in 3 weeks, yeah.
What, if you could describe in one word your feeling when you first saw the finished product?
My first sort of finished product, I was like, my first feeling was, wow. And it could be because, this is my first feature I directed. And there are a lot of stuff that comes into play that people put together to help make your feature. Because it's like, it's not just your dream it's right there in front of you, but it's people who believe enough in your dream to help make that happen. And when you see that all come together, when you see all those credits, which represent all the people who believe in your film for whatever reason, that is amazing and heartwarming. And you really gotta, at least for me, I felt so much thankful. I was very, very thankful that all the people came together to help make this happen. So that was my thing. That was my wow moment. Like, wow, everybody believed in me. Wow, we were able to get it done. Wow, I got something to give back to the people who believe in me, of thinking this was going to work for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. People are going to check it out. They're going to be like, I want to know more about this. Tymaine, you also had the best child actor ever in this thing. I was so blown away. How did you choose her? It
It it's so funny because she was, I believe, at the time she was 8 going on 9, which
Her name
was
is Cruz Malga, by the way.
Cruz Malga. Yeah, Cruz Malga. And it was funny because her mother, who ended up being a producer later on, but she wasn't a producer at the time. She just come in with a little puppy dog. She sits down, cross her legs, go on her phone and go, "You go do your thing, kid," you know? And then the daughter comes and she just did an amazing performance. She did a performance that blew us away. And it was like, we looked at it and we just like, wow, yeah, she's it. She's our Haley. And she was able to cry on the spot. She would do everything. And it was just well done. And then when I let her know, she told me, because I didn't realize at the time, she told me that it was her birthday. And she said, "You gave me my best birthday gift ever."
Wow.
I thought, "Oh, that was great." She said she just turned 9. That was the best birthday gift she got. I was like, "Oh."
Aw,
And
she's amazing.
She's amazing.
She's unbelievably talented. I was pretty pissed because I was like, great, the girl playing my daughter is a better actor than I am. And I'm an adult.
Well, and I should say, during the, so you know, Mike, how mean your co-host is. During our behind the scenes, he and she.
You're talking about Sean Piccanino?
No, I'm talking about you.
Oh, me? How mean I was? What did I do?
So during behind the scenes, he basically got with Cruz and they had a trick. And they kept having us try to guess what this trick is. And they never let us know what the trick was of how they understood each other.
You guys were tortured by it. It's basically a magic trick. And I taught it to Cruz. And so during the entirety of the shoot for the weeks, we just kept playing that trick and people kept going, "Oh, I got it. I know it." And then they didn't. And then they didn't. And they're like, "How is an 8-year-old girl tricking me?" And then we finally gave it away like at the premiere.
They both have kept this secret. We don't know. We want to know the answer.
I told one person at the premiere, but other than that, yeah, it's just a fun little trick. I learned it when I was a little kid, so I knew that, you know, and she's brilliant. It's fun though. Anyway, sorry for torturing you, and sorry, not sorry. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, it was a great time. I remember it fondly. Those are some of the best days on sets. Tymaine always has a very positive, a very fun set. We work hard, we work fast, and you know, you all feel supported. You feel like there's a lot of positivity, and we just have fun. It's a good time. I think everybody's going to like the movie. I think you guys should check it out on Amazon. You can watch me act. You can watch Cruz act. You can watch Genevieve act, who plays the lead. She's amazing.
You don't have to watch me act. So
yeah, sadly, but it's great. It was a good time. It's fun. You guys will like it. Check it out on Amazon. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg will include the link in the description box below. So check it out. Just go right below this video. Check it out. Click on it and watch it. Now,
thank you guys.
Definitely. Let's move on to the final
bottom
stage.
Line.
This is it.
Oh, the final stage. That's a good one.
Yeah. We call this the Terrible Twos.
Bottom line.
It is well, I call it the bottom line. Mike likes to call it the Terrible Twos. It's the final two questions.
Just call it the bottom line. I'll call it the bottom line too. I'll cave.
It's the final 2 questions. That's why Mike wanted to call them the Terrible Twos. And they're really difficult. It's a tough time. Anyway, so as Mike likes to say, it's time for the Terrible Twos. Question number 1. Tymaine, I'm just kidding, of course. Mike hates it when we say the Terrible Twos, so we like to razz him.
Yeah.
Because he came up with that name.
Actually, I do like it about as much as I liked this show. So
okay,
we'll find out what that is coming up.
Perfect timing, because question number 1 is scale of 1 to 10. What would you give The Walking Dead World Beyond Michael Kenyon Rosenberg? 1 to 10.
I guess I can't give it a 1 because the girl, Aaliyah Royale, the girl who played Iris, I thought she did a pretty good job, and I did like the concept. So that's 2 points. I guess I'll give it a 3.
Wow. Nice. What about you, Tymaine? Scale of 1 to 10, what would you give it?
I want to give it a 7, but my brain keeps saying 6.
You can give it whatever you want, but I mean, if that's what your brain is
Objectively,
saying.
it's a 6, but if you like the characters enough, you can boost it to a 7. But if you're talking about the overall show concept, writing, everything in place, it would be a 6 because it does not yet, despite it's one episode, yet go in directions where it can happen. I'm hoping that it boosts it up to a 7 and an 8 as the episodes continue, because they have interesting concepts that is not delivering on them yet.
Well, I'm going to give it, I really liked, I say this in a lot of shows, but I do pay attention to world building, and that's always very fun for me. And I love it when they have a new concept. Like if they just had these kids going off on Middle Earth battles with the zombies, then it'd be a very low score. But since they have more to it, there's Omaha, there's Portland, there's the CRM, there's what's going on in New York. It's expansive. There's a big Bible for this. So I'm going to give it a much higher, a significantly higher grade because of that, and give it a 3.5. Well, it did. It brought it up for me.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing that I hated about the show.
3.5 from a 0.
Yeah, it's nothing I hated about the show. There's just very little I liked about it. There was just nothing really to it. I'm glad that when I asked you guys if you had a favorite character, I realized I secretly panicked because I was like, oh shoot, I hope they don't ask me who my favorite character is, because I can't think of one. I don't care about any of them. But luckily we just went on and I was let off the hook.
Dang it.
I know, what a relief.
Who is your favorite character though, Ryan?
The second question of the Terrible Twos is, for the purposes of this podcast, we had to watch The Walking Dead World Beyond. Now the podcast is over. We're all still friends, but we have to go on our merry way. We don't have to watch any more of this, but we have the option to if we'd like to. So the question is, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, now that the podcast is over, of your own volition, would you watch The Walking Dead World Beyond episode 2 and beyond? Would you watch the second?
I guess you could probably guess
I
by
have
what
no
I'm
idea.
saying that I would not. Thumbs down.
What about you, Tymaine? Would you watch the second?
I actually would watch the second and the third episode. I want to see where they're going. Like I said, I do not think
New York.
I think they failed
Omaha.
I think they probably going to go to Omaha, but I think they did not deliver as strong as they should. But at the same time, we all can agree that some of our favorite shows have not done the great first season. The Next Generation hasn't done the great first season.
That's been mentioned many times on this podcast.
Yeah,
Love
definitely.
the show, but I understood where we started from.
Right.
And even stuff like my favorite show, which is Star Wars: The Clone Wars animated series, its first season wasn't that great. The movie that they all keep jumping about, the animated movie everyone hates, that's part of season 1. It just didn't make it. He just took that part of season 1 and put it into the movie, made a movie out of it. It sucked apparently. So, but it's considered one of the greatest ones of all time. So I would give it room to breathe and let it grow and find itself. Now, obviously, if season 2 sucks, then they're screwed. But but I will give them the opportunity to find themselves. And that's what I want. I was checking to see how will they find themselves within the first few episodes. May not get as much because, from my understanding, they are starting to shoot season 2 now. So they kind of pigeonhole themselves a little bit on how this season's going to be. But you never know. They might have gotten some stuff from other critics and reviewers who got to see it early and made fixes in between. So let's hope they did and give us something that will help us.
Well, see, here's the thing. I definitely agree with a lot of that. But I have to hold an existing franchise and spin-off to a higher standard because they've ironed out their kinks, presumably, in 12 years of The Walking Dead. If this was their first time doing a show, then yeah, I cut them a little more slack. But now I'm like, you've had all your practice episodes for the last 10 or 12 or 15 or however many years it's been. I would not watch the second.
I
Well,
can counter argue
go ahead.
because Voyager was not good at season 1 either, and they had 10 years plus as well background experience of the Next Generation, DS9, and so forth. And the Voyager season wasn't that good either. But after a while, get 7 of 9 in, start doing a few of the different things, stop looking for Earth every 5 episodes, every episode or 2. It became a better show.
Counter argument. Back in the late 80s and 90s, when the Next Generation and Voyager were on the air, there were a lot fewer choices of stations to choose from and shows to choose from.
People were much more patient.
You have all these different streaming services. You have a million different channels, and they're all making content. So you've got a lot more choices. And so if you have a very limited amount of time, like somebody like me who has a 40-hour a week, 45-hour a week job that I have to work, and then I do this podcast too, which takes up a lot of my time.
Aww.
I'm packing right now, so I have a lot less time to devote to these kinds of shows. So I'll watch the first episode. That's why we watch the first of things. But then, I don't have the time to give them a first season.
So what Michael's trying to say is that Ryan, I would not watch the second. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say, and it was a pretty easy decision for me. I wouldn't mind asking Tymaine later on, be like, so where did they go? You know what? I wouldn't mind checking in on it and finding out what it did or what's going on. But it's certainly not something that I would watch the second episode of.
I think my wife is planning to watch some more of it, so I can always find out from her.
Yeah,
that's kind of what she.
Let me know
after
how
the whole Negan thing and Glenn and all like that. She kind of kept me up to date a little bit about Walking Dead. So I was like, all right, well, I know what happens, so that's fine.
Well, Sasha's on Discovery. What happened to Sasha? Oh, there you go.
Well, that's all the time we have. Sorry to say, guys. I think we're right about you, Tymaine. Remember I said you're a half full kind of guy, and you'll like it. Okay. Yeah, so, and Michael hated it. You were right about Michael.
Yeah. About Michael. I was wrong about you, though.
Yeah. Okay. So, everybody, if you want us to review something fairly and objectively, go ahead and put WTF My Little Pony or WTF That 70s Show. Whatever you want, and maybe we'll do it. Until
Ryan
then,
really wants to watch My Little Pony.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he does.
He says that one quite often, actually.
It's because I panic. I go, just say WTF, and I'm like, oh shit, what am I gonna say? And then I just say the first thing that comes out, and every time it's My Little Pony. Maybe I do secretly
subconsciously.
Maybe I do, because I'm like, I can't keep saying Cheers every time or
Seinfeld.
Yeah. I gotta know more shows.
So anyway, thumbs up, subscribe, smash that bell icon for notifications.
Teach it a lesson. Watch When the Fever Breaks by Tymaine and Lucy Clay. And until next time, just remember what Michael Kenyon Rosenberg likes to say.
Wait, we forgot to say
this podcast was very out of whack, almost as if a zombie had bitten me and I was just doing things in the wrong order. I mispronounced Tymaine's name because I was thinking about saying the other thing. We said this thing in the wrong place of that thing. Michael corrected me 6 times, but he didn't correct me that one time when he should have, so I blame him for all of this. That's what this podcast was.
This podcast was all my fault. Sorry, everybody.
Tymaine.
This podcast was fun and awesome.
Glass half full. Now, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg tells us what he likes to always say.
Don't forget to watch the first of things. There's my finger.
Tymaine's like, why does he say that? That sounds dumb. All right, we'll see you next time, guys. Thank you.